The secret wedding that shattered everything. My husband doesn't want you at the wedding. He finds you pitiful. Those were the blunt, crushing words my sister delivered without hesitation when I inquired about my invitation to her big day. My name is Megan Harper. I'm 36 years old. And in that single moment, over a decade and a half of unwavering devotion exploded into pieces. I didn't learn about it through a family announcement. I discovered it scrolling through Instagram. There was a stunning rooftop setting at dusk, a flowing white gown, and a post declaring the happiest day of my life. No phone call, no heads up, just deliberate omission. I was standing in my cozy kitchen, my coffee growing cold, my hand trembling as I held the phone, suddenly realizing I hadn't simply been overlooked. I had been intentionally excluded. That heartbreaking instant made it crystal clear. I had never truly been part of the family in their eyes. Before I dive deeper into this painful journey, pause for a second and share in the comments where you tuning in from today. Maybe a peaceful kitchen like mine, a quiet parked car, or that rare moment in a room all to yourself. You're joining stories of resilience. And right here, the raw truth unfolds. When our mother Susan passed away tragically in a car accident, my sister Haley was just 13. I was 22. In a flash, I transformed from simply being her older sibling into her lifeline. I left college behind. I waited tables late into the evenings, sold policies by day. Any job that brought in steady money. I grew familiar with the lonely hum of an empty refrigerator in the dead of night, the faint scent of budget laundry soap on secondhand work clothes, and the careful calculations to make meager tips last until payday. Part 2. Stepping up to raise my younger sister. I ensured Haley had meals on the table, attended classes regularly, owned shoes that actually fit, stocked supplies like notebooks, packed nutritious lunches, and covered every school outing fee. She dreamed of becoming an architect. I covered her college costs term by term, tuition, lab expenses, all those surprise add-ons. On graduation day, I applauded from the far back seats, already mentally budgeting for the next month's bills. Once she landed her entry-level position, I purchased a stylish loft condo in Denver's vibrant Rhino Arts district. Around $420,000 with exposed brick walls and soaring windows offering city views. The deed remained solely in my name. For simplicity, I convinced myself. It felt like a short-term arrangement. I also started a dedicated Europe travel savings account. About $40,000 built up over time from consistent monthly contributions, tax returns, and work bonuses I skipped spending on myself. I never labeled it as sacrifice. I saw it purely as my duty as family. Gradually, statements arrived at my home address, association fees, utility reminders, policy renewals. Automatic payments set up, and I eventually stopped second-guessing them. When Ryan came into Haley's world, the dynamic shifted dramatically. What once felt like genuine support morphed into accusations of overreach. Assistance turned into attached obligations. Haley began echoing it herself. You constantly intervene. You prevent me from learning through mistakes. You lack faith in my abilities. I tried to view it as normal growing pains, the friction when someone seeks autonomy while love lingers. I believed steady reliability would eventually breed appreciation. But instead, it fostered entitlement. The exclusion from the wedding didn't happen overnight. It eroded slowly, one financial contribution at a time. I stumbled upon the news, just like any outsider would, mid-scroll on Instagram. A breathtaking rooftop bathed in golden sunset light. Haley radiant in her elegant white dress. Ryan sharp in his dark suit. Twinkling string lights draped across the open sky. Guests lifting champagne flutes in joyful toasts. The post read, "The happiest day of my life." My coffee cup nearly slipped from my grasp, clattering against the counter. It held firm. I almost wished it hadn't shattered. I stared at the screen until tears blurred everything. Refreshed the feed repeatedly, desperately hoping for a glitch. No such luck. I scanned the comments, endless congratulations, overflowing heart reactions, friends mentioning one another in excitement. No tag for me, no reference at all. I wasn't present in any way. I checked my inbox, no unanswered calls, no messages. I dialed her number. Part 3. Accusations of overreach, manipulation, and the hidden ledger. It rang straight to voicemail, time after time. By the 8th attempt, my finger hesitated, then committed. This time, it connected after a couple rings. Ryan picked up, not Haley. "What's the issue now?" he snapped, as if I were an unwanted solicitor. I requested to speak with my sister. He let out a heavy sigh. "She's occupied. We literally just tied the knot." "This," I replied, stunned. "Finding out through social media?" "You seriously need to quit hovering," he retorted. "You fund things just to manipulate her." "Manipulate?" I countered that I wasn't even aware a wedding was happening. A long, tense pause hung on the line. Then Haley's softer, guarded voice emerged. "He's right in a way," she admitted. "You always jump in. You dictate choices. You never allow me to manage on my own." I posed a single, direct question. "Do you want me to cease all support?" She paused noticeably. In the background, I caught a cabinet shutting, glasses tinkling, faint celebration music from elsewhere. "That's not the point," she evaded. But deep down, it absolutely was. When the conversation ended, silence followed. No follow-up call, no remorse, no simple check-in like, "Are you all right?" Nothing but emptiness. The following days dragged endlessly. I showed up to work, forced smiles as needed. Evenings found me at my modest kitchen table, laptop glowing, reviewing statements, power bill, broadband, building pass, subscriptions, association dues, mortgage alert, all registered under my name, all sustaining their lifestyle. Haley shared glowing honeymoon snapshots, luxurious balconies, captions celebrating, at last free to thrive. My notifications remained quiet. I stayed up nights, ear tuned to the refrigerator's steady buzz, mentally tallying obligations instead of drifting off. Mortgage, fees, coverage, the upcoming Europe account transfer. That's when reality hit hard. They didn't crave my company. They relied on my financial backing. And while I continued covering costs, they faced no real choice about including me. They enjoyed full access to my resources without sharing their milestone moments. They craved freedom, yet comfortably resided on my financial foundation. If this happened in your circle, how would you respond? Drop a 1 in comments to continue supporting while preserving closeness. Drop a 2 to halt the funds and enforce firm limits. I couldn't let it end with that abrupt hang-up. That evening, I snatched my keys, secured my apartment, and headed toward Rhino. The urban lights streaked by my windows, glowing signals, stopping taillights, none registering fully. Ryan and Haley's sleek building loomed ahead, modern glass and brick towering over the bustling street. I claimed a visitor parking spot, gripped the steering wheel tightly for a beat, then exited. Through the elegant lobby, up the elevator. At their unit, I rapped firmly 3 times, no wavering. Haley cracked the door cautiously, then swung it open. She was in a loose tee, barefoot on polished floors. Stacks of unpacked boxes and gift wraps cluttered the space. "Why are you here?" she questioned. "We have to discuss this," I insisted. "Just the 2 of us." Ryan materialized behind her, device in grip. "Say whatever it is right here," he demanded. I focused solely on her. "You allowed him to label me pitiful," I stated calmly. "You backed his claim of me being manipulative. Tell me directly." She fidgeted, gaze averting. "It's not the exact words," she deflected. "It's the way you affect our lives." "The way I affect you," I echoed. "Or the extent of what I fund." Ryan raised his phone slightly, recording active. "Watch it," he warned. "You're quite upset." Beyond him, cartons marked for various rooms. Everyone nestled in a home my finances secured. "You reside here because I secured the mortgage," I pointed out. "The Europe savings belong to me. Every transaction flows through my accounts." Haley folded her arms defensively. "We're grateful," she conceded. but gratitude always arrives with lectures. Adjacent doors began opening. A neighbor in casual wear propped against his doorway, watching. Another hallway light flicked on. Muffled whispers, family tension. Ryan grinned faintly. Exactly what we meant, he said. You escalate everything into drama. My tone lowered. You truly believe this is about seeking drama? I challenged. It's about manipulation, he insisted. You're not our guardian, not our savior. We're grown now. Haley gave a subtle nod, avoiding my stare. You demanded space, she added. We're simply honoring it. The corridor seemed to shrink, air growing heavy and stifling. I glanced at his active camera, her defensive stance, the subtle glows from onlookers' devices. I could debate, recite figures, plead, or truly hear their underlying message. They rejected my involvement. They dismissed our shared past. They desired only my ongoing contributions. That evening marked my shift from their fallback to prioritizing myself. Part 4. The confrontation in the hallway, the recording, and the sting of pitiful. Arriving home, tears didn't come. I removed my shoes, placed keys on their hook, illuminated the kitchen. My modest space felt compact, yet truly belonging to me for once. I set up my laptop at the table, drew up a seat, and built a fresh tracking sheet. First column, possession. Second, estimated worth. Third, registered owner. Entry 1, Rhino Loft Condo, $420,000. Owner, Megan Harper. Next, Europe Travel Savings, $40,000. Owner, Megan Harper. Then, round-trip flights to Europe for two, $9,500 charged to my card. I included the overlooked details: association fees, property taxes in escrow, broadband, subscriptions, secure parking, coverage, everything linked to me. The grand total glared back, well over $500,000 fueling their so-called independence. I pulled up contacts, located Elena Torres, a seasoned corporate lawyer from professional gatherings. Dialed. She answered sounding weary. All good, Megan? A fast legal consult, I replied. If everything, accounts, titles, is exclusively mine, can I reverse it all without interference? She requested specifics. I recited from my list: property title, financing, college-style savings account, bookings, services, solo ownership, no joint signatures, no formal agreements. Brief silence. You're solid, she confirmed. You hold rights to sell, close, terminate. At worst, some taxes or charges. Any risk they argue it was a gift? Unlikely without paperwork, she explained. Feelings don't equal binding agreements. Relief washed over me, not joy, not full ease, but sharp clarity. Post-call, I launched another window, immediate actions. Contact carrier, terminate bookings, seek reimbursements. Reach fund manager, liquidate the savings account, accept withdrawal fee. Engage agent, market the property swiftly. Terminate services and accounts. Secure all common logins. Each task received a due date, each date a checkbox. I marked them off steadily. Next day began with the airline, bookings voided, funds returning. Then the account closed, proceeds incoming less minor deduction. By midday, property listed with competitive pricing from comps. Viewing scheduled rapidly. That night at my window, downtown sparkled below. Across the city, they mapped futures assuming stability. No warning text from me. No message left. They sought true autonomy. They would experience it now. The authentic version, unbound by pretty filters. The accountable kind, the monetary reality, the one arriving when the cushion vanishes. And the consequences solely theirs. True freedom dawned the instant I ceased funding theirs. Part 5. The action plan, the expert advice, and the quick market. For months elapsed before Haley reached out again. I was mid-virtual conference when an unfamiliar number appeared. I excused myself to the hall, accepted. Sis, it's Haley, she rushed, voice shattered. Borrowed a phone, you restricted mine. Words tumbled, sponsorship opportunities fizzled, major deal imploded. They burned the upfront payment regardless. Debts piled, overdue alerts mounting. Ryan absent evenings, then permanently. I messed up, she confessed. On the wedding, on judging you on it all. Old habits urged, grab keys, open finances, devise rescue. I held steady. Can I crash with you, she pleaded. Temporarily, till I'm stable. You demanded autonomy, I reminded gently. Here it is. That's harsh, she murmured through tears. Harsh, I responded. You sidelined me while relying on resources I earned through hardship. You reframed aid as manipulation to avoid gratitude. Sobs escaped her. But your family, I said evenly, when mutual respect existed. No raised voice, no lengthy justification. I simply held the boundary firm. Call ended, number blocked. Part 6. Her struggle, my serenity. Now, my days feel simpler yet solid. A home selected purely for me. Fresh morning brew in a tranquil kitchen. Weekends filled with scenic trails, cozy bookshops, gatherings with true friends who inquire about my well-being without expecting proof of worth. Haley crosses my mind occasionally. I avoid her online presence. Devotion alone didn't secure family ties. Clear limits didn't brand me heartless. I didn't forfeit a sibling. I finally ceased neglecting my own needs. If this tale touched your heart, hit like, share widely, and follow. Stories of Resilience delivers more inspiring accounts of inner fortitude and renewal.